Have you ever felt a presence so profound that it shook the very foundation of your reality? A moment when the veil between the visible and invisible seemed paper-thin, and you wondered if something divine or dark had just brushed past your soul. Today, I'm going to speak directly to your spirit about a truth that ancient scriptures whispered and modern hearts have forgotten. The eternal battle between light and darkness that still rages in this very moment, in your neighborhood, in your workplace, perhaps even in your own home. This isn't just about biblical curiosities or stories from another time. This is about your awakening, your purpose, and the invisible forces that are fighting for your attention right now. You might think angels and demons belong to dusty theological debates or horror movies, but what if I told you they're closer than your next breath? What if the sudden inspiration that changed your path was whispered by a celestial messenger? What if that persistent darkness you've been battling has a name, a strategy, a spiritual source? The question isn't whether they exist, but whether you've been sensitive enough to recognize their fingerprints on your life. Every unexplained moment of grace, every inexplicable temptation, every divine appointment that seemed too perfect to be coincidence, all of it points to a reality your eyes cannot see, but your spirit knows intimately. Right now, as you're watching this, there's a war being waged over your destiny, and you're not just a spectator, you're the prize. The forces of heaven are orchestrating divine encounters to lead you toward your highest calling, while opposing forces work tirelessly to keep you distracted, discouraged, and disconnected from your true purpose. This isn't meant to frighten you, but to awaken you to the magnitude of your value in the cosmic order. You were never meant to walk through life unaware of the spiritual battle surrounding you. And today, that ignorance ends. Before we go deeper into this revelation, pause for just a moment and check if you're subscribed to this channel. If this message is already stirring something in your spirit, that's no accident. Subscribe now so you don't miss the divine downloads coming your way. This channel is your spiritual compass, and every video is designed to equip you for the journey ahead. The ancient scriptures speak clearly about angels walking among us, messengers sent with specific assignments to guard, guide, and deliver those who seek truth. Hebrews tells us that we may entertain angels without even knowing it, which means your last conversation with a stranger, that helpful person who appeared exactly when you needed them, could have been a divine agent dispatched from heaven's throne room. These aren't fairy tales or religious fantasies. These are documented experiences that span millennia, and they're still happening today in ways that will make your heart pound with recognition. But where there is light, shadow also falls, and demons too walk among us with assignments of their own. They don't always appear as obvious evil. Sometimes they masquerade as opportunities that feel right, relationships that seem perfect, or thoughts that sound like your own voice. Their strategy is deception, and they've had thousands of years to perfect their craft. They study your weaknesses, memorize your patterns, and wait for moments of vulnerability to whisper lies that sound like wisdom. The battlefield is your mind, and the prize is your peace, your purpose, your very soul. You might be wondering how to discern between these forces, how to recognize what's divine and what's demonic in your daily experience. The answer lies not in paranoia, but in spiritual sensitivity, a skill that's developed through intentional practice and awareness. When you begin to pay attention to the fruit of your thoughts, the outcome of your decisions, and the peace or chaos that follows certain influences, you start to see the patterns. Angels bring clarity, peace, divine order, and alignment with your highest good. Demons bring confusion, anxiety, division, and a persistent feeling that something is off, even when things look right on the surface. Think about the moments in your life when everything shifted unexpectedly for the better, when doors opened that you never knocked on, when people appeared with exactly what you needed. Those weren't lucky breaks or good timing. Those were angelic interventions orchestrated by a God who sees your entire story and sends help before you even know you need it. Heaven is not distant or disconnected from your daily struggles. It's actively engaged in steering you toward breakthrough, healing, and divine appointments that will alter the trajectory of your entire existence. Your guardian angels know your name, your assignment, and the obstacles ahead, and they're working tirelessly on your behalf. Now let me share something with you that most people never consider. Demons also have assignments, and you might be on their list precisely because of your potential. The enemy doesn't waste resources on people who pose no threat to his kingdom, which means if you're under unusual attack, facing persistent opposition, or experiencing warfare that seems disproportionate to your circumstances, it might be because hell recognizes something in you that you haven't fully seen in yourself yet. You carry seeds of greatness, potential for impact, and a calling that threatens the darkness, and that makes you a target worth fighting. But here's the powerful truth that shifts everything. You're not defenseless in this battle, and you're not alone. The angels assigned to you outnumber the demons arrayed against you, and the spirit dwelling within you is greater than any force in this world. When you understand your spiritual authority, when you learn to wield the weapons of prayer, worship, and the word, you become dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. You shift from victim to victor, from target to warrior, and the entire atmosphere around you changes because you've awakened to who you really are and whose you really are. If this is resonating deep in your spirit, do me a favor and hit that like button right now. It helps this message reach other souls who need to hear it, and it tells me you're tracking with this revelation. Your simple click creates a ripple effect that brings awakening to countless others. Let me take you deeper into understanding how these spiritual beings operate in our modern world. Angels don't always appear with wings and halos. Sometimes they show up as the stranger who paid for your groceries when your car declined, the friend who called exactly when you were on the edge, or the opportunity that arose right after a closed door. They're heaven's delivery system, bringing messages, protection, provision, and divine intervention into the natural realm. Their presence often carries a sense of peace, a knowing that everything will be okay even when circumstances say otherwise. Demons, conversely, often operate through familiar faces and comfortable patterns. They don't need to possess everyone. Sometimes they just need to influence the atmosphere, plant a thought, or amplify a fear. They work through that friend who always talks you out of your dreams, the family member who reinforces your doubts, or even your own inner voice when it's rehearsing trauma and predicting failure. Their goal is to keep you small, silent, and stuck in cycles that drain your faith and steal your hope. They're master manipulators who know that an imprisoned mind is easier to manage than the free spirit. Consider for a moment the spiritual climate of your own life right now. Are you experiencing unusual favor, divine appointments, unexpected provision, and a growing sense of purpose? That's angelic activity accelerating your journey. Or are you facing constant obstacles, recurring nightmares, persistent anxiety, and relationships that drain rather than sustain you? That's demonic interference attempting to derail your destiny. The key to victory isn't just recognizing these forces, but actively partnering with heaven and resisting hell through intentional spiritual warfare and alignment with divine truth. The Apostle Paul warned us that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, and spiritual wickedness in high places. This means your real enemy is never the person who hurt you, betrayed you, or opposed you. They're often just instruments being used by forces they don't even recognize. When you understand this, you stop fighting people and start fighting the spirits operating through them. You pray differently, you respond differently, and you begin to see breakthroughs in situations that seemed hopelessly entangled in conflict and confusion. Angels are assigned to nations, regions, churches, families, and individuals, each with specific mandates from the throne of God. When Daniel prayed, his answer was delayed for 21 days because the angel carrying his breakthrough was engaged in warfare with the prince of Persia, a demonic principality ruling that region. This reveals something crucial. Your prayers set angelic forces in motion, and sometimes the delay you're experiencing isn't denial, but warfare in the unseen realm. Your breakthrough is coming, but it's fighting its way through opposition to reach you, which is why you must persist in faith and not grow weary. The reality of spiritual warfare means that some seasons of your life will feel heavier than others, not because God abandoned you, but because you've entered a new level that requires a new dimension of faith. Every promotion in the spirit comes with opposition designed to disqualify you before you step fully into your assignment. The demons know what you're about to walk into, and they'll throw everything at you to make you quit, compromise, or settle for less than God's best. But when you recognize the attack for what it is, you can stand firm knowing that resistance always precedes breakthrough. Let's talk about discernment, a gift that every believer should develop but few actually pursue. Discernment allows you to sense the spiritual climate of a room before anything is said, to recognize when someone is operating from a place of light or darkness, and to detect when your own thoughts have been infiltrated by enemy suggestions. It's not about being suspicious of everyone, but about being spiritually alert to the movements of both heaven and hell around you. When you sharpen your discernment, you stop walking into traps, you avoid toxic relationships, and you position yourself in places where angelic activity is strong. One of the most profound truths about angels is that they're actively involved in answering your prayers, sometimes in ways you never expected. When you pray for direction, an angel might arrange a conversation that clarifies your path. When you pray for provision, an angel might inspire someone to bless you unexpectedly. When you pray for protection, angels literally encamp around you, creating a barrier that demonic forces cannot penetrate. Your prayers are never wasted words floating into empty space. They're powerful decrees that mobilize heaven's armies on your behalf. But demons also respond to your words, which is why the Bible warns us to guard our mouths and be careful what we speak. When you constantly rehearse failure, proclaim lack, or declare negative outcomes over your life, you're actually giving demonic forces legal permission to manifest those very things. Your words are creative forces that either align with heaven's purposes or open doors to hell's agenda. This is why renewing your mind and transforming your speech are essential weapons in spiritual warfare. They literally change the atmosphere around you and limit the enemy's access to your life. There's a reason why worship is such a powerful weapon in this battle. It shifts the spiritual climate instantly. When demons were tormenting King Saul, David would play his harp and the evil spirits would flee, unable to coexist with the presence of God that worship invites. The same is true for you. When you worship in the midst of warfare, you're not just singing songs. You're creating an atmosphere where angels gather and demons scatter. Worship realigns your spirit with heaven's frequency and reminds the enemy that he's already defeated. You might be experiencing this very moment what some call a dark night of the soul, a season where everything feels heavy, confusing, and spiritually dry. These seasons aren't evidence of God's absence, but often evidence of demonic oppression designed to make you quit. The enemy knows that if he can make you feel abandoned by God, you'll stop fighting, stop praying, and stop pursuing your purpose. But I'm here to tell you that even in the darkest nights, angels are working, God is moving, and your breakthrough is being prepared even when you can't feel or see it yet. Consider the testimony of Peter in prison, bound in chains, facing execution the next morning, and an angel appears to break his chains, open the locked doors, and lead him to freedom. What looked like a hopeless situation was actually a setup for a miraculous demonstration of angelic intervention. Your current situation, no matter how impossible it appears, is not beyond the reach of heaven's resources. The same God who sent angels to rescue Peter, to shut the mouths of lions for Daniel, and to roll away the stone from Jesus' tomb can dispatch angels into your circumstances right now. Demons want you to believe you're alone, that no one understands, that your situation is unique and hopeless. But those are lies designed to isolate you from the very support systems that could bring breakthrough. Angels often work through community, through the body of believers, through friends who speak life, and mentors who see your potential. When you isolate yourself in your pain, you're actually cooperating with demonic strategy. But when you stay connected to life-giving relationships and spiritual community, you're positioning yourself in places where angelic activity flows freely. The truth is, you've probably experienced angelic protection more times than you realize. Every accident you narrowly avoided, every danger you didn't see coming that somehow missed you, every moment when things could have gone horribly wrong but didn't, those weren't coincidences or luck. Those were angels executing their assignment to guard and keep you. Psalm 91 promises that he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways, and they will lift you up in their hands so that you won't even strike your foot against a stone. That's not poetic language. That's a practical promise being fulfilled in your life every single day. As we approach the end of this revelation, I want you to understand something critical. Your awareness changes everything. When you wake up to the reality of the spiritual battle, when you recognize that angels and demons are active participants in your daily life, you begin to live differently. You pray with more authority. You worship with more passion. You guard your heart and mind with more diligence, and you walk in a level of spiritual sensitivity that protects you from enemy schemes while positioning you for divine encounters. The angels are waiting for you to partner with them through faith-filled prayers and declarations. Demons are looking for opportunities to gain access through fear, sin, and agreement with their lies. Every day, you're either feeding angelic activity through your alignment with truth, or you're giving demonic forces footholds through agreement with deception. This isn't about living in fear, but about living with eyes wide open to the spiritual dynamics that influence every area of your existence. You're not powerless, you're not a victim, and you're definitely not alone in this fight. So yes, angels and demons still walk among us, more actively now than ever before as we approach the culmination of all things. The battle is intensifying, but so is the outpouring of heaven's resources for those who are awake and aware. Your assignment is too important, your purpose too significant, and your impact too threatening to the kingdom of darkness for heaven to leave you unprotected or unequipped. The question is not whether they're here. The question is whether you'll recognize their presence and partner with what heaven is doing in your life right now. I'm so grateful you stayed with me through this entire journey today. If this message awakens something in your spirit, if you're seeing your life through new eyes right now, then subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. Every week I bring revelations that equip you for the spiritual battles you're facing and position you for the divine victories heaven has already prepared. Don't walk this journey alone when you can have a community of awakened souls walking with you. Here's what I want you to do right now. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever experienced what you now recognize might have been an angelic encounter or a demonic attack? And if this message spoke directly to your spirit, type amen in the comments to confirm you received what heaven was releasing through these words. Your testimony might be exactly what another soul needs to hear to recognize what they've been experiencing. There's a video right here beside this one that goes even deeper into spiritual warfare and how to activate angelic assistance in your life. Click it and continue this journey with me, because what we're building together is a community of spiritually aware warriors who walk in victory.